What's up, Legos? How we doing? We good? Alright, I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm gonna just jump in. Is that alright? Alright, I'm gonna do 3 poems. If you're ready for the first poem, say let's go. Let's go! During the winter of 2015, the residents of Hampton Bay, Long Island woke up to what they say was the worst smell they had ever experienced. Mysteriously, overnight, 1,000 fish had died in the canal. After thorough analysis, they found that the oxygen levels in the water were too low and all the fish had drowned. Upon hearing the news, a lot of people had questions like, how does a fish drown? Don't they have gills? Don't they have a fin and a tail? They said things like, aren't they built to survive in that environment? Perhaps this is the best analogy for my depression. This angry deity, this jealous God, this thirsty shadow that wrings my joy like a dish rag, turns every conversation into a conveyor belt that always begins with the phrase, you look tired today. To be honest, getting out of bed has become a magic trick, and I'm probably the worst magician I know. This sadness is the only clean shirt I have left, and my washing machine has been broken for months. When people ask me how I'm doing, I want to say that my daughter's 6 years old and I'm still not sure if I'm a good father. I want to say that my dad has been diagnosed with dementia. There might be a day when I walk in the room and he doesn't recognize me, and I've always wanted us to start all over, but I guess you got to be careful about what you ask for. I guess when you pray for something, you have to be a little more specific. I want to say that crickets have been known to eat their own wings, and I too have a tendency to destroy what helps me get off the ground. I really want to say that I'm kind of fucked up right now, but that's not a polite answer, so instead I pretend it's Halloween. I jack-lantern my face into something acceptable, and I tell others I'm fine until it sounds like the truth, but sometimes there's a help me chained to the ankle of an I'm doing okay. Sometimes I'm fine is the quickest way to say I don't want to talk about it. Sometimes all the oxygen in the room becomes water. I feel like I'm sinking to the bottom, like I'm running out of air, but I made a promise to myself that I won't be another drowning fish, that I will not die in this canal. I heard if you just take a deep breath and relax, the human body will naturally float on top of the water. So I breathe and I tell myself that it's gonna be okay. I cry, but I tell myself that it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, because I know there is a better version of me somewhere in the future. He is staring at this moment right here, and he is saying, Rudy, thank you for not giving up on us. See, a few days ago, I was reading, I saw a run-on sentence, and I thought, you know, it could have just ended right there. But it found a reason to keep going. I smiled and I said, same. Thank you. So this poem, it's a newer poem, like it's not online anywhere, so I just feel like doing it. Can I do it? Is that all right? All right, here we go. So my daughter is 6 years old, and right now her favorite game is hide and seek. The funny part is, she always tells me where to hide. She says, you go right there, I'll count, and then I'll come find you. I know. It's not how the game is played. I'm supposed to find a good spot, hide behind a door, a couch, inside a closet. I'm supposed to make her look all around the house and figure out exactly where I am, but I don't do any of that. Because I know how it feels to wonder where your father is. Thinking, I know he has to be here somewhere. I come from a long line of boys who had to pick out their own razors and teach themselves how to shave. A lineage of young men who threw footballs in the air, then watched them land on the ground. We are echoes in a cave trying to love the frequency of our own noise, but have no idea where it comes from. The first time I got an A on a test, I whispered, I'm proud of you to myself, just so I can hear what it might sound like in a man's voice. The first time I scored a touchdown, my football coach hugged me and I said, thanks, Dad, on accident. I've copy and pasted my father into all of my best moments, then felt guilty for not appreciating him for showing up. It's fascinating how the human mind will do backflips if you just give it enough time to stretch. To be honest, I thought this feeling was a pair of hand-me-down jeans, something too big for me right now, but a garment I would grow into and then grow out of as I got older. But here I am still trying to be a father to my daughter and myself. And this is usually the part of the story when I say I don't know who my dad is. I tell you, I can look at 5 different pictures and not know which one is responsible for half of my DNA. But did you know that distance and proximity can eat at the same table? Did you know that a house can feel like an entire planet and and silence can turn 2 rooms into countries on opposite sides of the world. Silence is my first language, and lonely is an accent that I still can't get rid of. I was told that my father left for the Vietnam War, but only his body came home, and I have no idea who he was before PTSD grabbed him by the happiness. My father is one of the many rocks that America threw at another country. Eventually, that country decided to throw him back, but every day I watched the ghost open my front door, walk right through me without flinching, and my entire childhood was an event with no RSVPs. Once a friend said, "At least your father didn't leave you," and I replied, "At least yours only did it once." They say that an apple always falls close to the tree. What they don't tell you is that if someone picks it up, it'll go as far as they do. Luckily, it's my daughter's favorite fruit. So when she says, "Let's play hide and seek," I say yes. When she says, "Wait right there," I say yes. When she says, "Dad, you're so easy to find," I say, "Well, yeah. Baby girl, I'm always right here." Thank you. All right. How y'all doing? Y'all still all right? Y'all good? All right. This next poem, I've been stumbling through this poem lately. It's also a little newer. Let's see what happens. Let's get it. On days like this, I think of all the things I could be. I choose to be happy. On days like this, I think of all the accessories I could wear. I choose a smile. On days like this, I think of all the names I can call myself, and I say grateful, I say worthy, I say still here. On days like this, my mind, body, and spirit turn into a 3-piece band, and they're playing all their greatest hits like joy and laughter and letting go of anything that doesn't make me feel like the best version of myself. I'll be honest, I don't know much, but I know a few things about a broken heart. It's probably the worst injury you can have. It happens to us all. Luckily, it doesn't last forever. I know a few things about revenge. It doesn't change what already happened, and it won't make the pain go away. Revenge is like starving yourself while making a meal for someone who isn't even hungry. It's like holding your breath and hoping all your enemies run out of oxygen. I know a few things about forgiving. It's harder than it looks, but it feels a lot better than it sounds. I heard while leaving Sodom, Lot's wife wanted to see what was happening, turned around, and was transformed into a pillar of salt. I know a few things about leaving. If you take too much time packing your stuff, you'll convince yourself to stay longer than you planned, but when you finally do it, you can't look back. I know a few things about letting go. It doesn't always seem like the best idea, but it's usually for your own safety. I know a few things about healing. It's not a good employee. It shows up when it's ready, only works when it wants to. I know a few things about self-care. It's not as fancy as it looks on Instagram. Sometimes it looks like drinking a glass of water. Sometimes it looks like laying down. Sometimes it looks like putting on your favorite song and dancing like the world is on fire, but you are an ice cube that does not know how to melt. I know a few things about my body. It's the only one that I have, and it becomes everything I say it is. My body does not like to raise its voice. My body does not like to ask me to rest more than once, and if I don't listen, it'll go on strike when I need it the most. I know a few things about my mind. It's the most powerful tool that I own. If I say I am, then I will be, and all of my success begins with what I believe about myself. I know a few things about my spirit. It's not something I can point to or draw a picture of, but I know that it's there. I can feel it when I breathe, and it holds me together on days when I feel like I'm falling apart. I know a few things about me. I hate mustard. I think raccoons are terrifying. And I've made a lot of mistakes, but I know a few things about tomorrow. It's kind of like a shadow. It's hard to see when the sun isn't bright, but regardless, it's there. It's there like the moon and the stars, and sometimes I look up at the night sky and I'm reminded that people and planets aren't so different. We all have an orbit. Our energy decides what comes into our atmosphere. We all have our own gravity. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all tomorrow.